Reeves. I'm the head football coach at Bales High School in Bales, Texas, and we run a Veer offense that we're going to try to share some ideas with you today about. And it's not anything, it's something that we dreamed up. Everything we've got, we borrowed from someone else. And then we'll try to show you what we do as an offensive football team and try to explain things to you the best we can and give us an idea of what type of offense we try to run. First off, we want to try to make our offensive football team make the defense cover the entire field. That's the purpose, I think, of Veer offense, is to make them cover all zones of the field, both the running game and be able to throw the football from that as well. We want to try to make the defense assign players to cover all aspects of the option play, as well as secondary, be responsible for passing game as well as coming up and supporting on the running game on the option play. So those are purposes, main purposes for us trying to run the Veer offense. One thing I think that helps us too, and our belief in the Veer offense is the fact that we feel like we can adjust to defensive fronts easily. They're not, we use a zone blocking scheme. It's totally zone blocking. There are once in a while plays that we'll need to base block, but we're basically a zone option blocking football team, and we feel like that we can accomplish those things that we need to accomplish on each play and with a relative teaching on fronts. We primarily just have to teach our different techniques that we would have. We also want to try to run the football first. That's our philosophy here. Is we like to run the ball. We don't throw it a tremendous number of times a game, probably 15 or so. If our game's going like it should be, then 15 to 20 times maximum. There are times, of course, we're going to throw it more than that when we need to, or there's possibility there are times that our defenses that we face will not give us the run. They'll cover the run, and we have to throw the football. And certainly those things occur of whatever offense you're running in your particular scheme of things. Which we copied our offense, give credit where it's due there, completely from Jim Wacker's offense when he was at Southwest Texas State University. We started back in about 1979-80 working on this, and we did that when I was at Olney High School with Gary Calloway, and give he and Charlie Carroll a lot of credit for the three of us trying to iron out some problems that we had with the Veer offense. And of course, Coach Wacker, who's at TCU now, ran the offense, and he first came to TCU. And we spent a great deal of time with he and his staff, and in particular Bill Thornton, his offensive coordinator, helped us a great deal trying to learn what we were doing and what we're trying to accomplish and how to do it with our zone blocking schemes. Stats are not something that, as a coaching staff, we believe in a great deal. We don't worry too much about the stats. We're more interested in wins and losses and what we're trying to accomplish team-wise. To give you an idea, we try to balance our offense. Probably here at Bales High School, we've been here 2 years and putting in the Veer offense, and we were able to balance it up pretty well. We throw for about both years just under 1,000 yards, and we rush from 2,500, 2,700 yards a game. I have had football teams in the past where we had a good throwing quarterback who was a great athlete, and we had 3 good receivers, and we threw for better than 2,000 yards that year. But that's something that's generally unusual for us in our offense. We're generally going to run the football a lot more. And as I said, we're going to throw the football, a maximum probably 15 times. If we're running the ball really well, we won't throw it for 7, 8, 10 times a game. So we're primarily a run offense, and we're very interested in running the football first and then making an effort then to throw the football just enough to keep you off balance or to complement our running game. To do here is use our overhead projector and showing our scheme of things and all of our play design and stuff that we're going to work with today in our formations and such. We're going to try to use overhead, and maybe we can save a little time here drawing on the board and still make it very understandable for you. First off, let me show you what our offense we're designed to do here. We're basically a 2 tight end offense with a flanker set. I never change my running backs. My running backs will always align exactly the same way. And let me show you what we'll do. We use basically 8 different formations that we run from, and we'll show those to you as we go along. Our first set that we generally run out of, and of course we're right-handed like everyone else is, and we're going to run a right set probably more than any other. This is a right formation, and you can see where we've lined our people here. we have of course, a center strong side of our line. We'll flip-flop our line back and forth. All right, so if we're going right set, then our strong side of our line with our tight end and flanker is going to be to the right. Our fullback will be aligned right, tailback left. And over on the quick side, then we have two tight ends. We have quick guard, quick tackle, and the split end. All right. If I want to call right split, all I'm doing there is moving my split end out to a split set and to a standard pro set. And of course, we do that to accomplish different things. If I'm going to a left set now, I move the left. We just flip the whole thing over. We put the flanker left, tight end left, strong side of the line goes left. Quick side goes to the right side of the split end. Fullback goes left, tailback goes right. All right, and then we can make that left split by splitting the end on that side over there. That's the only change in the formation. Now that's what we're going to run a majority of our offense out of, particularly whenever we're new at it and we're trying to learn what to do in our basic early part of the year. We're going to be a lot of right and left sets. There won't be too much split. Of course, that's generally a passing situation, and we'll certainly run running plays out of that, but that's an important situation for us there too. The other sets that we use, and we don't use as much probably as we do any of the other formations, are right twin and left twin. And again, we have the same situations here. All we're going to do now is take our tight end and flex him out. We leave the flanker in the same position, and we still have a strong side of a line here, quick side back to the weak side, and then our fullback and tailback here. The left twin, we just flip it over, flip everything over, and we have a left twin set with a strong side to the left, and that again works well if you're trying to widen people out. You have three deep secondary, whatever you need to make move people around in the secondary. Other formations that we've gone to, and we've ran this more lately in the last couple of years, 3 years, than we have in the past. And those are unbalanced sets. And we find that we run an unbalanced set. It gives us an advantage at times, primarily because of secondary rotation. And it gives us an ability there with using motion and stuff to dictate what you're doing in the secondary a little bit. And it's been pretty effective with us both running against the 3 deep and standard 4 deep secondary. Our unbalanced right set, all we're going to do, the only difference between this and our right twin is we're going to move the quick side tackle over. And so we have a center, strong guard, strong tackle, quick tackle now, tight ends out in the twin with the flanker, and over on the weak side then all we have left is a quick guard and the split end. All right, and the split end, we'll never split him out in this formation. We'll always leave him in tight. Things are too tight there for us to do that. Running backs never change. They're always aligned the same. Then our unbalanced left set, we do the same thing. We're flipping it all over, flip the entire thing over, and we again have strong guard, strong tackle, and quick tackle over here with the tight end and flanker sitting in a twin set. And we found that that's given us a good change of pace for us for making them change their alignments. We don't do too many things fancy. We don't change, we don't have a lot of counter plays. We don't run trick plays. So we have to force some people to move around a little bit. And, your primary thing there is to see whether your front's moving or your secondary. They're going to have to move one of them. And, of course, most of the time people want to move the secondary around and screw it around to the strong side a little bit, which you pretty well have to do. If they move the front, if they slide their front down like you would a standard unbalanced set, then it usually gives them problems covering the run on the weak side, which we'll run to both sides. We're going to run strong, we're going to do weak. But we're going to make you leave your weak side over there. Our weak side over there is going to have to be covered. But we'll certainly go back to it. Okay, let me show you. The next thing I want to show you is how we number our plays so you can kind of understand what we're doing in these situations that I'm going to talk about. Our whole numbers and stuff, we're going to number our plays by series, and we need our whole numbers on there as well. They're a 2-digit number for each play, and our whole numbers you can see we have here on the center's feet is the way we number ours off. So going to the strong side, always a strong, not right or left, but strong or weak. Strong side will be 0 on the center's foot to that side, to the strong side, 2 over the guard, 4 over the tackle, 6 holds over the tight end, 8 of course is out wide. Back to the weak side then, we'll have 1 over the weak side, foot of the center, 3 over the weak guard, 5 over the weak tackle, 7 over the split end, 9 out wide. All right, and of course, when we flip that over to a left set, we're drawn in the right formation here. When we flip that over to a left formation, then we move those whole numbers, certainly go with them. Strong side, even still, even numbers strong, weak side, odd numbers. Okay, and that's primarily how we set up our whole numbers. Very simple. Everyone has a different way of numbering those holes, and we just want to be sure that we're going even to the strong side, and back to the weak side, we're going to have the odd numbers. What I want to do now is show you a little bit about what we want to do on line splits and stuff, and then we'll get into numbering our play series and refer back to those whole numbers. All right, if we set this, and I'll go ahead and line this up as a right formation for you. Adding our receivers in here now. We want a 3-foot split in here between these two here most of the time, and we want to keep this at least at 3. We're talking about 3 between up and down the line of scrimmage. There are plays that we'll want to narrow those splits down, primarily any kind of an option play that we want the ball outside very quickly on. If it's a veer play, we need some room to work in there. Certainly if it's a dive play, we need room to run. So we'll vary those splits a little bit, but I would much rather have them wide as to have them cut down too much. Our running backs, we will generally align our feet at 5 yards. Okay? And then, of course, our hands go down there. We want our feet aligned square. We want them lined up together. We don't want one dropped over the other one. And we'll always put our inside hand down with our running backs. That gives us a better chance, I think, of hitting outside veer lane tight like it should be. The common mistake there on outside veer is to hit too wide, and we feel like that if we put our inside hand down, then we have a better chance of making that correct angle and with the correct steps so we don't get too wide. All right, our linemen, we don't do anything any different there. We try to even our stances up the same. They've got to be able to go in any direction, either reaching over and reach blocking next to us and either side, so we want to keep our stances there very consistent and not tip off what direction we might be going as anyone would. Receivers, if we have a wide out, such as our flanker here, then we never want him closer than 7 yards to the boundary. We want to make him able to run the out route, the post route, go route, whatever it may be. So we want to leave us at least 7 yards to work with whenever we're working on the sideline there. We'd like this area in here to be 12 to 15 yards on the split. We want to split it out as much as possible, not going all the way to the sidelines. If we're on the hash mark, then we're going to align strong most of the time to the wide side of the field. I want my wide receivers split out some. We don't try to split if we're on the hash, on the left hash, then we don't going to set that flanker out there 7 yards from the sideline. He'll be closer than that at that time. So we want to keep at least that 7 yard split there, and yet we want about a 12 to 15 yard split between our tight end and our flanker as well. One other thing that we want to talk about here and kind of explain as we go along deals with motion. And we don't use a lot of motion, but it certainly comes in handy at times. Primarily, we found with certain situations, of course, in certain youngsters, we've had trouble. We probably cause more problems for ourselves than we cause for the defense by using motion. But there are times, particularly in certain secondary coverages, that we're going to want them to move around a little bit and show us what they're doing, and sometimes we accomplish that by using motion. We have motion that we can set in 2 ways here. We again draw a standard right formation for us. We're going to call motion, if the football's here, then we're going to call motion anything that's going toward the ball with the flanker will be called mo. If the flanker, we wanted to align the flanker a little tighter and run him outside away from the ball, then we call that fly. All right, and if we give mo or fly call, then that automatically goes to the flanker, and he will go, they'll make a difference whether it's right or left, he will either go across the ball or away from the ball, one of the two. The other motion that we'll use with our running backs occasionally. All right, and we'll show you later on film one of our pass plays that we use with a running back. The same thing, the same terminology, it goes here as well. Motion means I'm going to bring the fullback, which we letter B. We only call him B, so we don't have to say fullback fly or fullback mow. We call B mow. And that means that we're going to step up and then we go in motion across the ball. If it's a fly call, B fly, then we're going away from the ball. All right, on the tailback, same thing. A mow means that we're going to cross the ball. All right, and A fly means we're going in motion away from the football. And those are real simple for us to do. We signal in our plays, and we like to use as simple a terminology as we can. So we just call the play, and then if we want motion, we tag on the end of that number, either mow or fly for the flanker, A mow, A fly for the tailback, or B mow, B fly. And those are the ways that we use motion. We don't use motion a lot, but we do use it at times. We might mention as well, while we got this up here too, to go over with you very quickly what our snap count is. We use a snap count. It's very simple. I'm sure most people do. We just call our snap count as either on down or set or go. Now these three counts here, of course, down will be on the first sound. We do that. That's when we walk to the line of scrimmage. We will go on down more than we will anything. But we'll call down. Before we give a set call, we're going to use an audible system like most people do. Ours is a color and a number. We have a hot color that we have. We'll call any color. If we call that hot color, if we're using red as a hot color, then we'll call red. And then if we want to change that play to 14 from what it is, all we have to do is call red 14, and then we call set. If we want it snapped on set, we go on set. If we want on go, then we'll call set, pause, and then call go. If we don't want to change that number in there, then we are able to just walk up to the line. We want to call down, and maybe we want to use blue, and call blue 22. And we repeat that call, down, blue 22, that has no effect on us because blue is not the hot color. Then that's just a dummy call, and then we, of course, go on set or what have you. But most of the time, we're going to run on down. And there are times that we have to change that play at the line of scrimmage. Our snap count's on down. Then our quarterback, before we get everything ready to go, he may call check with me. That means we're going to audible or check off probably. And will give us a check with me call at the line of scrimmage. That moves the snap count automatically to set, and then we can get our audible call in without any problems. So that'll give us our snap counts and our basis there for lining things up. Again, we might, to get kind of familiarize you, but we'll give our numbers and our series and stuff here in a little bit. Our play call in the huddle would be like right 14 on down. Okay, and that's all we call, right 14 on down, and we've got the call made there. If we want to go with some motion call, it may be right 14 mow. That puts the flanker in motion across the ball. Then we give whatever snap count we want to call on that. And we feel like we don't audible very much. We change very little on the line of scrimmage, so we make it very simple for us. We don't feel like at our level of play that it's necessary that we change it. I don't want that much responsibility on our quarterback. He probably has enough to do now. Okay, our next thing we want to do is explain to you a little bit how we divide our plays and how we number our plays to give you an idea as to what and how we go about numbering these. We're going to divide our plays into series. And we won't cover all our plays today, but we'll give you a pretty good idea of everything we do. We do not run a lot of number of plays. We use a small number, and our philosophy is that it doesn't make any difference how many plays you have, it's how well you execute those plays. And we're going to have a small number of plays. We're basically a Veer offensive football team, and we're going to run outside Veer and counter dive. That's what we're going to live off of. All right, our series then, we'll start ours out with teens. Teens will be Veer plays. All right, that'll be inside, outside Veer. That's all. If we're going to work the 20s, 20 series are counter dive or counter option plays. All right, and then 30 series are going to be lead option or load option. That's all. We got 4 plays on the 30 series. Okay? Then on 40s, we have only 2 plays. Both of those are crazy options. Kind of a counter play. That's one of the few counter plays we run. We run a little quick tight end reverse, but that's all. We're not much of a counter team. We're pretty well going the direction we're going to show you to start with. But we'll run a 40 series. It'll give us a crazy option where we'll fake counter dive one way and bring the option back the other, kind of like the old trap series out of an eye, trap option series. Okay, let's take a look now at how we want these done. And let me kind of show you what we want to do as well. Veer plays that we're going to talk about are 14, 15, which are outside veer plays. And in that respect there, we can show you on by using our alignments here. We talked about a while ago. This is a 4-hole, and it's a veer play. That means we're going to step right here over the inside leg of that tackle. We're headed to the 4-hole, and that's where we come up with 14. All right, and of course we got this man going in this direction. We're going to step and ride here. So that's where we number our plays. We have 14. If we're going to go 15 and go back to the weak side, then we'll be over here. We'll be running over the 5-hole, which is over the quick side tackle. All right, and we just try to slip that thing outside. That's a 5-hole there. So 1 gives us a veer series. That means it's going to go veer 4 holes where we're going. All right, so the second number is the hole number we're trying to reach to. All right, and we're going to try to explain these things a little bit as we go through. I'm interested now in showing you what we do as far as each particular play. And I'll mention to you again, and wouldn't be telling my opponents anything different. We're going to live off of outside veer and counter dive. We're going to make our living running those 2 plays. I feel like those are 2 plays that are hard to defense. You can stop the counter dive, but it's hard to get over and cover the outside veer. You can stop the outside veer, but it's hard to cover the counter dive too out of the same defense. And if you can do both of those and cover the pass, then you're probably going to shut us down, because we're going to live off those things and make a very great attempt. Of course, you have to be able to run load option. You have to be able to run lead option at those things. And we feel like that we can make you step up and play everything. We're not always going to tell you that we're going to take the counter dive and run it down your throat, because we certainly may not. You may have enough people over there stacked in there and do a great job defensively and shut us down. But we're going to try to make you play all of those particular areas. Okay, so what we talked about so far, it kind of gives us our series, and what I want to show you very quickly here on is dealing with, we divide our plays, and again, this is borrowed. It isn't something that we originated. And let me just show you very quickly before we get into that how we block our packages on different things. We have basically 3 packages that we're going to work with. The first thing we're going to put down, we're going to say counter dive. Okay? And we're going to run the counter dive, and if we want to run the dive series right there, basically we call it dives, and they're all counter dives for us. That means the quarterback reverses out, the running back's firing straight ahead. We don't take any counter step. We want to hit it quick as possible. The dive play, though, we want movement. That's a primary concern of the blocking scheme, is to get movement, and we'll give you an example of how we do that. If we're going to run an option series, and again, this is not to be confused with veer. It's not a veer play, it's an option play. That means it's an outside option. We're going to take the ball outside, take the ball to the end and pitch it, and those plays are lead and load options. Option play, we want to cut off pursuit. We want the ball out there just as quickly as we can get it there, and we want the premium on that particular blocking scheme is to cut off pursuit. We got to get the linebackers cut down. Down linemen don't have to be moved at all. Just cut them off and we can get to the end. Then we're going to have a veer series, which means it's going to be outside veer or inside veer. And on that, and particularly the outside veer, we're trying to accomplish both. We're going to have some movement at the point of attack, and we've got to get some of that pursuit cut off back there at the linebacker spot. So those are what we're trying to do. On the dive plays, we want movement. We want people blown off the football. And I'll show you on that they're, and against an even front, we don't block linebackers. We turn them loose. Against the option team, an option play that we're running, we're going to cut off pursuit. That means we've got to get the linebackers cut down. and against when we're running a veer package, outside veer primarily in our offense, then we're going to need some movement at the point of attack, and we're going to need to cut off pursuit. Those are both areas there that make, of course, the triple option gives you something else to read defensively, but those are things that we're trying to do, and I think I'll mention that over and over, that it's a dive blocking, or it's option blocking, or it's veer blocking, and those are three areas that we look for. And of course, everything we do is zone option, zone blocking scheme, and it's something that we feel like that is very simple for our youngsters to learn. Very seldom do we get a defensive front that we've worked against, or that football team's played before. If they've been a split six front, then they give us a 50 look. If they've been a 50 look, they give us a split look. They'll throw a 10-man front at us. They'll throw a 27 front at us, and they've been a 50 look. So we get a lot of different people that throw a lot of different looks at us, and we have to be able to adjust to that. And our zone blocking schemes do a very good job of that, I believe. As we go into these particular plays, there are some schemes and stuff, and of course, we don't have time here to explain each of these blocking techniques, but I better give you an idea of what we're talking about whenever I say we want a double combo block here, or whatever. And I'm sure many of you use that same terminology of double combo block without any hesitation. That's something that you use all the time. And let me list those blocks for you that we're going to talk about a great deal. Of course, first thing we have, and we base our whole blocking scheme on, every blocking scheme is zone step. And we'll put down ZS on that, and every play that we run off for our youngsters on our scouting report has the letter of the blocking technique that they use. And you've got to know where those people are aligned and how to use them. All right, so zone step is the first thing we do. That's just those standard zone blocking that many of you already do. The other things that we'll see will be DC, that'll be double combo. I'm sure most of you do that. We also use a double D, a little double D there to show a doodad block. An example of that would be a tight end with a 9 technique on him, and we want to make sure that he is not wrecking our inside, wrecking inside of us there to stop outside veer. Then we'd want to stab him in the inside number with our helmet, and then bounce off on him and throw on that linebacker that's pursuing. Okay, that'll be a doodad block. You have a lot of different terminologies for those things, and I know a lot of you do the same thing. Other things that we'll do will be combination blocks inside, stab and cut. To have an example of that would be a 2 technique on top of a guard. And we'll want to stick him in the outside number and then throw on the linebacker. All right? In combination with that, if the center's here, the center's uncovered, he want to reach over on him, we'll call that a crossover read. I'll write down COR. All right? And those are basically what we're going to look at. I will do that with the tackles. I'll stab and cut with the centers. I do one that whenever it's an option game or we're not worried about moving at all, we'll do that same combination blocking with a 2 technique. And instead of stabbing and cutting, we're just going to throw it quick, and we'll call that fast fold. All right, and we'll cross over read to the center, trying to cut him down, getting his piece of his inside lower leg, and then we'll just curl around him right quick and throw on the linebacker. All right, so those are basically those 6 blocking techniques right there will be things that I will use during the presentation here that we'll need to understand a little bit, just from a terminology standpoint. Okay, we're going to go through our plays right here, and first off, we're going to talk about 14 and 15. That's what we live on. That's our bread and butter. And I'm going to give you an idea of what we do and how we go along blocking this. I'll probably show you against an even front and an odd front on each one of these primary plays, and then we'll get on and show you on film what we do. Certainly on film, things are not going to always work out as you hope they would. Youngsters will miss blocks, they'll miss block something, or they'll have poor technique on it. But we've got some film clips that we'll follow up each of these series with and try to help you understand and see what we're trying to do. All right, so let's look at 14. All right, 14 is outside veer, strong, not right, but strong. All right, and we're going with a right set here, and let's put us a 50 front up here to begin with, just a base 50. And of course, as all of you know, you're going to get any combination of these as we go. I can tell you this right now: we are as much concerned
and oftentimes more concerned with secondary alignment than we are with front alignment. I want to know what the secondary is doing, what their support is, how they're covering in the passing game. I want to know how their support is and who's covering what on the option. It's probably more important to us. We can zone block all this up here and usually do a decent job of tying people up. But if we're not getting a hold of the secondary like we need to and doing a good job of calling plays and stuff with their secondary scheme, then we're going to have some problems moving the football. Okay, this is 14 now. We'll talk about these things as we go through. I'm going to zone step and zone lock up with this man right here on this 5 technique. Very important that we do that. All right, this is nothing more than a zone step as well, trying to get that backer. These people here on the zone steps that are going towards backers, again, you're not blocking a man, you're blocking an area, it's zone blocking. We'll tell our people to go backer. If you can't get that linebacker, then you go to this linebacker. All right, if this linebacker's already blocked, as you hoped he would be, then you go to the free safety. We do not want to chase this linebacker as he flows. We let him run from us. If we can't get him here, then we'll check backside backer, then the free safety. And the term we usually use there is just backer, backer free. All right, that's a zone scheme. Again, though, you're not blocking that man. You're blocking that area. Over here, this is a veer play. It's outside veer, so we're going to stab and cut. We need a little movement, all right, but we got to get pursuit too. So we're going to play center on the stab and cut. We're going to drill that play side number with our helmet and then throw. You don't have time to come over here and block him. He won't be there. He's going to be right there, so you got to throw straight up field. Our offside guard will cross over read, reach down on him. We're going to zone step this. If this man crosses your face, you cut him. If he doesn't, you're upfield chasing secondary people. And then this is standard downfield blocking. Here's where we come back to the terminology I used while I was on the doodad. We're going to stab that inside number, and then we're going to throw straight upfield. If you don't, you miss him. But we're counting on this tight end being able to get that linebacker if his guard doesn't get him. Again, if that backer's cut already, then we want to go backer, backer free and go back to the backside linebacker or all the way to the free safety. We're going to suppose now that strong safety is going to come up and take quarterback, and the corner is going to be forcing on pitch. This is just a stalk block here. All right, so our path right now, we're going to step with our inside foot. Very important on outside veer. We have our feet set parallel. We're going to step the inside foot at the inside leg of the tackle. You'll never have problems hitting too tight, I don't think. I think you'll have problems hitting them too wide. And then you get out here into this read man who we're reading, and if you run right at him, he doesn't have to move. We want to make him move. So we're going to come right here on the inside leg of this, slipping right outside that block. Pitch man, of course, going in this direction. Our quarterback is going to get to a point right here and settle both feet. We want him settled here. Ride the ball hard. Ride it up in there. Don't pop it in there. Ride it. All right, the read's here. We tell him, give the football. Give the football unless the end closes hard. And we're going to give the ball more on the outside veer, and we'll see on film that we do. We give the ball more on the outside veer far more than we ever pull it. So we'll tell him, and don't confuse him by saying, hey, if he does this, do this, and do this. Just tell him, plain and simple, that if you're going to hand the football unless the end closes hard. Then, of course, if he does, then we're going to pull the ball and take it to force. All right, and the strong safety's forcing, taking pitch, then you're going to cut it up inside and run. If a strong safety's taking quarterback, then you got to have this good pitch relationship right here, and we ought to be able to dump the ball right here, and we ought to have the man blocked here on this side. Of course, those don't always work out that way, and you have to do it. You just have to take this. Be patient. There's nothing about running the Veer offense that's pretty and fancy and all that kind of stuff. I think you have to be patient, just like you do in any offense, and you're going to get knocked down on the line of scrimmage sometimes. And it's going to work great sometimes, and sometimes the defense is going to stuff you. Okay? So what you have to do is be patient with this offense, and don't expect to line up here and break every run for 15, 20 yards, touchdown, whatever. It won't go like that, just like no offense will. But this certainly gives you an opportunity, I think, to again, make them cover the football field in a wide area. So this is an important thing right here. Let me show you against, and we're going to draw some of these strong and some of them weak. Let me show you what we want to do now if we're going to go to an even front, and we'll talk about, in all honesty now, all of these plays are the same either side. 14 is the same thing as 15. You get a little different look, and I like the outside veer to weak side because you have a free safety that probably going to have to take quarterback, and he's having to come from 7, 8, 10 yards deep to take him, where strong safety going to line anywhere from on the line of scrimmage to 3 to 4 yards deep. So it makes a lot of difference in there on the weak side. It's a pretty good play back to the weak side, and we like to do that. Let's take a look at an even front. We'll just put a straight, true 26 front up here and give you an idea of what the same things. There's no difference in this. Secondary alignment, no, we're going to say is going to be the same. Not many people give us halves in the secondary. It's too far for the safeties have to come. But we do get halves occasionally too, and we have to be able to adjust to that. Now then, same blocking scheme we talked about a while ago. Stab and cut on the strong guard. Stab his outside number, throw on that linebacker. We're headed at this linebacker. Don't get him, go to backside linebacker. Don't get him there, or he's already gone. Then we go to free safety. Zone step here. If that backer's gone, let him run. Again, backer free. Center, crossover read. He's got to reach down. We want that crossover read now. You have to step with the opposite foot. All right? It's got to step all the way over. All right? If you don't, you can't get your helmet across his shins, and that's where we're headed. We're not headed to the knee. We don't want them hitting the knee. We need them hit below the knee. We want that helmet, shoulder pads on their lower leg. We don't want them in the knees. We're not trying to hurt anybody's knee. We want the helmet across that lower leg just to cut them off, not let them get penetration so we can get the ball run by them. Okay? Backside's the same thing. We stab and cut here. We want to stick him and then throw on the backside linebacker. We'll crossover read with the tackle. All right? So you can see that scheme there is the same. Got a good, tough 6 technique. Say it's lining up on his head up here. We want to drill that inside number tough, where we can release inside and get to that linebacker. All right? Now, we got some troubles here now. If this linebacker is able to scrape here and take quarterback and he can go to pitch, then we're in trouble if this one takes dive. All right? If we got to make sure he does not wreck the mesh. Never let him run inside of him. That's a cardinal sin for a tight end to let a defensive end run inside of him. If he's on a hard stun inside, then we want to lock him up and bury him all the way down to the guard. You've got to really run him hard, but do not let him come inside of him. All right? If he's playing a good tough 6, he's not stunting, we can use a term that we use, seal block. And that means we just release outside of him and throw on that linebacker immediately. If he just going to play us tough there and take dive every play, and some of the better football teams do that. They're real consistent on what they do, and they don't play a lot of games with you. They just make you sit up there and run the opposite and make you do it right. And them knowing that part of the time you're going to beat them on something, but they're going to stuff you sometimes too. Okay? So there's some areas right here on this point of attack that are real important. We're still reading that in. Whether he's a 7, a 6, or a 9, we're still going to read him. All right? Now that gives us, we're downfield over here, standard set there. Nothing changes in the backfield, never change anything in the backfield. It's always the same. We're still going to step and ride right there, give the ball, unless he closes hard. If he closes hard, then we want to pull the ball and we turn it up immediately. We make more yards on outside veer when we keep the football with the quarterback running up inside the strong safety or whoever's covering quarterback. Because they'll settle here and they'll want to come up right here and stick you, and we're able to cut it up hard inside and we can break the tackle and run there. Not often do you get the pitch. We'll show you once on film where we got the pitch, but that's not a general rule. Generally, it's going to be dive play, then the quarterback's going to keep some, pitch very seldom. But we'll sure pitch it if you give it to us out there. We'll take the pitch. Okay? Now that's strong side, outside veer. You know, quick side is exactly the same. There's no difference in it. And I think your kids can learn to block that. You can block anything they throw at you. It's just a matter of you being, your youngsters being poised in what they do. Our football teams, we do not rah-rah a lot. We want our kids with their helmets on tight and thinking about what they're doing. And we feel like that the emotional part of the football game is who's the toughest anyway, not Not who can jump up and down the highest. All right. Run, set the right formation. We run the outside veer to the weak side, what we call 15. Good read on that end, took quarterback. Okay, this will be left formation. We're going to run the outside veer to the strong side this time. You can see the end just standing there. We give the ball. Most of the time on the outside veer, we're going to give the ball. Most of our an unbalanced right now. We're going to run outside veer strong. Really missed that read, but we come up there and make a good pitch out there, and of course break some tackles and get in the end zone on this particular. We're going back to the weak side here now. Watch, we'll ride the ball up, suck everybody up inside, make a good cut there. Now we hit it upfield hard. Pitch man ought to stay with him. We make that pitch downfield, we could have gotten the end zone there. Outside veer, dive man's taken, quarterback's covered, we pitch the ball and get it in the end zone on that play. Mo, 14, and we'll run outside veer strong, give read, break free there and break one tackle there, and we're in the end zone then. Good play on quarterback. Balance left, we'll run outside veer, have to pull the ball there, cut it upfield and make that cut quick and hard, headed vertically upfield. Good job on his part. Okay. All right, we're going to cover now our dive series now. And if you remember a while ago, our primary purpose in the dive was to attain movement at the point of attack. And I'll show you some different ways, and we go to odd fronts here. We do ours a little different. Our dive and our inside veer will be blocked basically the same. I do at times block base on the play side on the dive play against a standard 50 front. And that all depends on how our defense is playing. Backside I'll always block like I'm going to draw it up here. But sometimes we'll do our play side blocking. We just have to base because of the way they're playing us up front. And I'll explain this as we go along. Now then, first off, we want to double team the down lineman. Anytime we can on dive play, we want to double. So we're going to give both of this center and this backside guard are going to be working on double combo blocks. Okay, so I'll put DC on those. All right, now then, on the play side, this is something that we try to do and it works. This is the same blocking as what we run when we run inside veer. And we're going to do what we call bump across. We're just going to check this nose guard to make sure he's not slanting into us. And if he is, we double on this side, and this side comes off. And then we'll block the backside linebacker. I'm going to doodad the 5 technique now, stick him hard and go to the linebacker. And turn the 5 loose just like we would if we were reading. I got a veer release block here, blocking force. Whoever's up, he's blocking. This man's blocking stalk on the deep third. Or deep half, whatever they're covering with there. Okay, backside, we're releasing inside. If he comes across his face, we cut him. If not, we're headed upfield. And we're downfield blocking here as well. All right, and at this, again, we're diving straight ahead. Okay, with this nose guard, we're going to see, we got to be able to see him a little bit. We're on the pitch here. Counter dive, I picked up from the University of Houston. Now, we're going to take those counter steps. And you can see on film, you're going to take a total of 4 steps getting turned around. We don't just spin, we take 4 steps. It can be done. Just have to work on it a little bit. And then we're going to ride the ball up and give it, and then I want you to attack the end. If the end's coming hard, of course, protect yourself. We don't need our veer quarterbacks. They get all the shots they need to. They don't have to go out and block the end. So, but we want to come past this so we can carry out a fake. Maybe you make a secondary man take a step the wrong way. All right, our dive back then is looking right here. We're going to watch that linebacker, that tackle ought to cut right in front of us, and then we're going to cut outside and then back up field again. So that's the way we block a 50 front on movement. That we're looking for is movement, and we're going to attain that on the nose guard right there with a double combo block. We're bumping across with a strong guard, doodad now, with this tackle right here on that linebacker, making sure we get to the linebacker. All right? Anytime we say movement, though, we're looking to double the down people in our area of attack. We'll show you what we do against an even front now. We'll put, again, a 26 or 27 front up, and we'll put us in a right formation still. All right, and let's put us a 26 front back up here again, or 29. That's what we see most of the time, or 29s. All right, but we'll put us a 26 front up here. Okay, now then, we got a double combo on the down people. That means we're going to double this one right here with the center. Center's going to always block play side. So we're double comboing between the center and the strong guard. All right, again, we're running right here. All right, over here is the zone technique, zone step. That backer runs, forget him and go backer free. Veer release block, blocking force, blocking deep third or deep half. All right, now then, this side, double combo here, here. All right, anytime we get an outside stunt by this man, center doesn't chase him, he's got to come off and go get the backer. Same thing here. This guy slants away from him, this guy's off of him, looking for the backer. If he slants to him here, he's got to pick him up. This one comes off and gets a backer. But we're looking for movement on both down people. All right? This linebacker's not blocked. That should be okay. We want movement back. Two men can drive one. If you can't, you're going to get beat. All right? So we're going to drive these people straight back. And now then, it's up to this running back must read the middle backer. Okay? If we get that block and we get it driven back and this linebacker's filling up the A gap, then he better get outside. If this backer's scraping hard trying to get around that double team, he better cut it back inside. All right? He makes the wrong cut. He'll make the wrong cut a time or two inside there when he's learning. And if he's not reading, he'll make the wrong cut pretty often. And when that middle backer, which is usually the best football player on the team, time he gets through tagging his head 2 or 3 times, he'll learn to make the right cut because he's going to hit him head on if he doesn't make the right cut. So we got to read that, and we're going to read it hard. I don't have any even front to show you. I can show you our fullbacks reading that. We work on it in practice. Anytime we think we're going to have an even front with a middle backer, then we work on that in practice and give you an idea of what we do. But he has got to read the Mike linebacker. If he doesn't, he's not going to be able to play running back for us because he can't run that dive play, then he's not going to do us any good. So he's got to make that read. Again, quarterback steps, hands the ball there with a good ride up, and then attack the end, making sure that we carry out that fake. One thing that always gives people a problem, and it gives us a problem on Veer too, is running doggone split six. And we ran split six when I was at Downey High School and did a good job with it. It's a little bit difficult. It cuts down on our preparation. I can tell you that right now. We're not going to spend much time getting ready on the split six. There's not very much for us to do. Say we're playing 7 techniques, and you can either put these ends or corners up, however you want to play them. All right, but we're going to sit in here with a halfback and a safety over here, and whether you 3 deep or zone makes no difference. And let me show you what we're going to do. 100% of the time, nearly, you're going to get a 3 technique lined up here. Then this isn't anything but zone lock on. It's zone step to him, and if he's staying there playing like a good 3 technique should, you just lock up with him. He's going to zone step, covering that gap. Zone step, cover that gap. Zone step, covering that gap. If his 3 techniques riding with him here, he'll probably lock up with him. He ought to be going for the middle, this play side backer. If a play is going in this direction, we like to have it center step that play side backer. If he can't get him and he scrapes off like he should, then he's got to come back on this one that's filling this gap in here in the A gap. We do this on all plays. All right, inside veer, outside veer, counter dive, it doesn't make any difference. We're going to zone block a split 6. All right, split 4 look inside, whatever you have in there. The primary thing you got to have here again, if you're running a dive play, if they're running a dive, they're running back, we want him outside, scraping outside. We're reading this 3 technique, running back. Get your eyes on him and see him. If he stretches hard, you're hitting here and cutting back inside hard. If he doesn't stretch hard, and that doesn't mean he doesn't move outside 2 feet, that means that he's stretching. If he does not stretch hard, you're going outside of him. Looking to cut the inside shoulder of that back that's scraping there and get back up the field inside. You know, you don't break a lot of big plays a lot of times against the Veer offense. I mean, against the split defense with the Veer, but and it was designed primarily to cover the Veer. But we feel like we can put some pressure on them. This against the split fronts where we'll use some motion. All right, more motion than not, because I want to move them secondary people around a little bit, and we got some film that we'll show you of us doing that as well. Okay, so we'll let you take a look on film at some dive plays. That's what we have coming up next on the video. We'll try to show you running some dive plays, and just note how quick we want to hit the hole. That's what we're looking for, is how quickly we can hit the hole and get the football upfield on the counter dive. Okay? So this will be a right formation. You're going to run counter dive weak side over here. Good job, good line surge, and able to cut back, break free on the back side. Good job on the running back's part there, as well as the strong side or weak side. Okay, this will be basically the same thing, except we're setting unbalanced left, still going back weak side. Had to block them base on that side because of the way they were aligned. Unbalanced right, we're going to run counter dive into the strong side right here. Good cut. Back against the weak side over there, getting downfield, good yardage. An unbalanced left, going to put the flanker in motion, run the counter dive strong to the top side, and we'll make good cut. Good blocking right there, and then a good cut in the secondary. Gets him in the end zone. Be a right formation. We're going to run counter dive right over here. Good job tackle, you see, coming down inside, making that cut, and then of course we just break outside and outrun the free safety there. Right split now, 22, counter dive this side. Good cut right there at the point of attack. We can see the quick side of the line come off good. Was able to get downfield there and cut back. Good job running back. Section that we want to cover is on option plays, and primarily there we're talking about lead option and load option. All right, lead option now we will call 36. All right, that is the lead option. We block these both the same way. There's no difference in the blocking. All right, and then load option we call 38. All right, so that's what we want to look at right here is the lead option and the load option. Load option, great ball control, no risk type football play. We can load that end out there and let the quarterback keep football. Our quarterback's going to be our best football player back there in that backfield. I can just about bet on it. It doesn't have to have great ability. Of course, the faster he is, the quicker he is, the better offense you have. But he doesn't have to be great. What he has to do is have a good head on his shoulders and know what he's doing back there and not make critical errors that hurt you. Let me show you what we do here now. And this, again, is designed to cut off pursuit. That's what we want to do on these plays. These are option plays. Not Veer, but option plays. And we want pursuit stopped. We got to stop those linebackers from running, or we can get the ball outside. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video about line splits. And this is where we vary our line splits some. In the option game, we'll cut our splits down. I want to make this corner as tight as we can right here. So if I can run the load option right here, I can get the ball to the end right here, then that's how much quicker we can get the ball outside and get it upfield. So we may cut our splits down to 1.5 feet. We'll pack them all tight in there. That'll tie up the linebackers for us. As long as we got an area to throw in the backer, then that's what we're looking for. All right? So let's run load option first. Going strong with the load option. All right, we're going to start out like it's outside Veer. We're aiming this point right here. Then we're going to bend it off and throw on his outside leg, as all load people do. It's going to load block the end, whether you run the eye or what you run. All right, we're going to start out putting the ball out and reaching for the guy like we're going to ride him, but we never make contact with him. We want to slip right in behind him there and then we want upfield, and we want upfield around that corner just as quickly as possible. All right, and of course the pitch man's staying with us. All right, we're going to stalk block that. Now then, a little change here. Zone lock on here, that's standard. Zone step here, that's standard. Now then, no stab and cut needed. We don't need any movement whatsoever. So we just fast fold this guy and cut that backside backer. Crossover read with the guard on this side. All right, and then right here we still stepping this side. Tackle crosses, cut him. If not, we hit it upfield. All right, crossover read, fast fold him now. You don't even have to touch this guy's nose guard. Let him go. All right, and we'll get upfield right here. We want to get off and get it upfield. Hopefully you can get that strong safety feathering a little bit out here, then we want to cut his inside shoulder and run then. All right, we don't get to pitch very often on this. But that's a good play for us. That's 38, or load option. Now then, lead option we crack back on. I have a couple of load options on tape. We'll show you in a minute. Primarily it's going to be lead option stuff. And you see us do this out of an unbalanced set. So let's just show you what we do unbalanced. And if we go with an even front, now we're going to match the even. Let's just match this up even like we should, just a normal front there. And put a 26 on us. All right, and we set the corner here. Better move the free safety over strong a little bit. Strong safety probably up pretty tight. And a corner sitting out here. Now that's generally the kind of alignment we're going to get. We're going to get ball side with the free safety. So somebody's going to have to move over there. It's going to have to be front or secondary one, or you're going to have trouble with it. All right, now then, as always, again, let's take a look at this. We're not interested in any movement on these down linemen, so I can fast fold this guy looking for the backside backer we want to pick up. Downfield with a split end now. Remember, this is a quick tackle I moved over here. Okay? Fast fold this one. Crossover read here. If this guy is an awfully good football player, we might block down on him. Most of the time, we're just going to take off running anyway, and we don't even worry about him. We're going to take and do like I always do on speed option. We're going to square up right here with a drop step with this right foot back, and then we're going to push off that right foot and run up inside that defensive end. Excuse me. All right, and pitch the football off the end. If you can't get to the end to pitch the ball, then don't pitch the darn thing. Don't pitch it off the wrong guy. We're zone step right here. Okay? I'll take this guy and either doodad him or seal him. We like to seal block and come around that end, keep that end out there from wrecking us real hard, and with that way we've got this linebacker pretty well sealed inside. All right, I'll crack this man right here, coming down here, checking backer, bumping to free safety on the crack. Got to hit him above the waist. Don't cut him down low and hurt a leg. Then right here we're going to go the same thing right here. We're going to crack on this guy, and we want the fullback now. His job is to block force. Okay, all the way to corner on this particular thing. Got the pitch man coming here. Okay? Now then, we get the ball at the end and we make that pitch pretty quick right there, and it just ends up being a quick sweep. If you can see that now, we've got a crack on the strong safety, hopefully. If you cannot get that crack out there, we have a call that we make. We get a lot of strong safeties crawling up on the line of scrimmage now in this area. And if he crawls up there too tight, you can't crack, he's forcing hard, then we have this crack man that's supposed to pick him, the flanker called smoke. That means you got heat coming hard here, so he sees smoke call, he makes a smoke call, the fullback answers him smoke. We got smoke here, smoke in return, that means fullback. Block the force man here, I'll go ahead and block the deep third for you. All right? So we're blocking, we got to take this man first. If we don't, he's going to wreck us, he's going to kill us right here on the pitch, we fumble the football. Okay? One thing I teach my quarterbacks, and we haven't talked much about on techniques and stuff with quarterbacks, is never pitch the football in the trash. If you got somebody out there that don't look good, eat it up, roll it up inside, pick up a yard and go back to huddle and call another play. But don't pitch the football in the trash and get the pitch man head knocked off back there and fumble the football. So if you got trash out there and it just doesn't look good outside, then don't pitch it. Roll up inside with it, try to get stumble forward, dive forward, get a yard out of it, and go back to the huddle. All right, but don't force a pitch play. That doesn't work very well. Okay, so that was 36 and lead option. Of course, good lead option goes back to what we call 37 then, back to the weak side. All right, and you can split that end out and crack him down inside just like you do the flanker here. Many of you that don't even run the option games, your primary offense run the lead option weak. and I know you understand what we'd want to do there. But again, premium now is on pursuit. All right, we want to cut off pursuit, and that means get the linebackers. Down people we're not the least bit worried about. We're going to get out there and run on them. Okay? Okay, that gives us, we'll let you take a look at some video now on lead option and load option, and you'll see in the video that primarily we're setting in an unbalanced set, and we run a lot of lead option out of an unbalanced set with a double crack this past year, and we'll give you a look at that on film right now. And going to the top side now on lead option. Good crackbacks by both people there. Fullbacks out front. Makes a good block downfield. We was able to pick up about 20 on that play. Lead option strong again. Take the ball to the end and pitch it. Good block with the fullback. Backside end almost got there to get the offside man. We broke. Formation, we'll run load option weak. Good short yardage play there. Good block there by the lead back, load man. Unbalanced right, going 36 again. Lead option, pitch the ball on the end. Good lead block over the fullback. Had to block the inside man the way they were aligned, forcing. And we make a great cut there back inside and get him an open field. Okay, our next session that we want to talk about is deals with the passing game. And I mentioned to you earlier in the video that we're a run offense primarily, but if you can't throw the football, then you're not going to be very successful. And everybody knows that. And you can load up and stop the veer. You can stop the outside veer. You can stop our counter dive. You can stop our lead option stuff. But if we can throw the football on you, then we're going to make you back up and play those things and be honest with us. So we feel like that our passing game, of course, is nearly all play-action pass. We'll show you some video later on a passing game. Most of it's play-action pass. We do throw a drop-back series. We don't rely on that. It just depends on sometimes on who our quarterback is, how well he stands up and throws the football back on a 5-step drop. Let me tell you very quickly about our passing game and then how we number our plays and stuff. Any pass that we have will be a single digit or a 3-digit number, all right? And we'll do these. What we want to do is we have 2 plays really basically that are single digit numbers that are pass plays, all right? And that's 8 and 9. We'll see that on film, and we'll explain those to you here in just a minute. The others are we have routes numbered, predetermined routes numbered 0 through 9. And then all we do is put that in front of the particular play we're going to run, such as 214. That's the 2 route. We're going to run outside veer strong, fake outside veer strong, and run the 2 route. All right? Now you'll see us on film later on run 070. That'll be a curl route. That'll be a 5-step drop, straight drop back pass. We want to throw the curl to the backside end. That's a 0 route. All right? And then we have a route number and a particular thing that we generally stick with different plays, whether it be load option weak. We don't do but one read route on the whole thing, and that's we read the free safety on one particular pass that we don't run a whole lot. It just depends on who we're against and what type of rotations they use in their secondary. So our passing game, we try to simplify and make it very simple, and we'll show you some of those passing plays here in a little bit. Let me just show you what we try to do on our routes and stuff. We just want you to cover the football field, be ready to go deep. We don't complete many deep passes. We'll throw the ball deep, but we want you to make doggone sure you know that we will throw deep. All right, and you can run all of these routes, regardless of what your formation is, you can run that route. That's what I want to be able to do. Of course, veer stuff, we're going to run a lot of dump routes. All right, or veer release routes right there. Okay, and we're going to run that depending on what their defense does. We sometimes will take that split end and run him right straight up the field. You'll see us do that out of an unbalanced set. We'll run this veer release route and take our time here and hit him at 5 yards. We'll split him out here in the twin set, run him straight up the field and just hit the seam route on him right here. But nearly all of them are going to come off of either counter dive fakes, all right, and depending on what kind of pressure we get on the backside, we may step here and block back, or we may come over and pick up the end with the offside back, whoever that is. All right, but we do that, and our passing game is really simple. It's very simple. We don't spend much time in the passing game. Our workout schedule, we spend 20 minutes an offensive day working on the passing game, just strictly on the passing game and pass shell, and that's all. The rest of the time we spend on the running game. So it's pretty simplified in what we're trying to do. We do run, and I'll show you another series. We run our screens and draws, all our screens and draws, what you would think would be unlikely, but all our screens and draws come off of 70 series passes out of a pro set. And we're gonna draw to the tailback, just the old lead draw that everybody does. We're gonna use pocket pass blocking. We just number block, first down man, second down man, or first man on the line of scrimmage, second man on the line of scrimmage, and we're just pocket passing like always. He'll check. If he's got nose guard, he's got him. If he doesn't, well, he's got to help. Backs have got linebackers to your side. You check linebacker. Check linebacker releases or drops, then we want to release out here. All right, kind of as a safety valve. Seldom ever hit those people. We got a straight 5-step drop here. Okay, if we want to run the screen, we call it screen quick or screen strong. All right, and the only thing I do different on this is we block our tackles all the way. I'll pull the guard to block this side of the football out here to the boundary. We pull the center right in there to block the middle, and the backside guard to seal inside. If we're running screen quick, same thing, screen strong. A strong side now, we'll pull out and kick out to the boundary. Center that takes the middle zone, and the backside guard then is going to seal up inside. And so we use our guard and our two guards in the center to do all our screen blocking with. Tackles are in pass blocking still. Okay? If this receiver on the screen, if we're throwing to the fullback, if his linebacker's coming, he's got to block him first, then release off and catch the pass. He's still responsible for his particular man, regardless of what we're doing. And then we don't run too much stuff. We feel like we're going to throw the backside curl, or we're going to throw the out route over here. And that's basically what we're looking for. We get one-on-one coverage over there, and then we're going to drop and throw to the weak side most of the time. We got the option to throw strong side, certainly, particularly on the out route. But we don't do that very much. Most of the time we're going to throw weak, and you'll see us on film in one of our drives that we'll throw weak out of a 70 series passing a couple of times. Let me show you the two plays that I mentioned a while ago that are important to us as far as kind of special plays in the passing game, and that was 8 and 9. We don't do too many fancy things. This is kind of a read pass that we do, and I'll just draw in our secondary here and maybe a linebacker. We can show you what we're trying to do and trying to accomplish. If I'm going to run, and this will be play 8. All right, that's 8, this area out here, so it's strong side. Okay? Now what we'll do here is we're going to take this man and whirly-bird him, a couple of steps and whirly-bird him. He's going to be a pitch man just in case we need him. Okay? This one sneaks through the line right here, headed upfield deep. You'll see us on one of our drives hit this man for a touchdown. Okay? Also, we take this end here, get him across the field to clear out for that back very quickly. The reading part of it now, the business end of it's over here on the strong side. All right, and I'm going to take this guy and run him at 18 yards and out. I'm going to release this end as quickly as possible into the flat area. I'm going to take the quarterback, and we're just going to spin on this right foot here. Spin right quick, and we're coming down that line toward that end. We take the guard and log block him or try to keep him sealed inside, and we're going to turn the corner running. If this our read is right here on the strong safety, you'll see us on film. We'll hit this kid for touchdown, and what we do is we're coming right here on the read to the strong safety. If the strong safety stays back and picks him up, then we're going to run right at him, and we're going to option off of him. If the strong safety comes up to take the quarterback, we just dump it over his head. All right? So that's a read play for us. Play 9 is the same thing to the weak side. You can get exactly the same thing out of it. In fact, on film, you'll see us one time, a great linebacker, a football team are playing a great inside linebacker. This strong safety comes up and forces hard, and this linebacker is sitting right on that tight end's hip. We can't throw it there. They got a strong safety coming right in our face here. and we got their great linebacker sitting right here on this tight end. We don't have any place to throw football except right out here. And we hit him out here for about a 12-yard gain, 12, 13-yard gain, keeps the drive going. All right, so that's a good pass play. That's one that's difficult. It's very quick. We just run it out there real quick, and we're going to make that strong safety make a decision. If he comes up, take option, then we just have to dink it over his head. Have to be a touch pass. You can't drill it in there. All right, and you'll see us do that on film. Play 9 is exactly the same thing. You know, we don't use too much as far as plays and different types of plays that are designed to beat you deep on the pass and stuff. We don't do that. We're going to primarily work off our play action passing game, a little bit of drop back, and then of course something like 8. To me, we call it a special play. We'll take a look at let you look at 5 or 6 pass plays now, and you'll see some of these things, and we'll kind of tell you what we're doing on each one of those particular plays. I'll be unbalanced right. We're going to hit the man on the seam route. It's fake the counter dive, hit the tight end who's split out on the unbalanced sets right up the hash mark. Good play for us. This play is right 8A, and that means A calls to the tailback. That means we're going to throw back to the tailback instead of throwing to our normal tight end. Unbalanced left, 722 pass. That pass indicates to us for us to throw back to the split end there who's lined up inside the unbalanced set. Break that free. That is the game winner for us in that ball game, big ball game for us. Right, 8, where we threw back the tailback on a while ago. We're going to read the strong safety here. We throw right in behind him in to the tight end. It's a good play there. Hard to defense. Unbalanced left, 722 again. Going to throw the seam right over here. Hit him again. Front of the free safety. We got the ball in front of him, and of course, strong safety had to come back in and make the tackle. All right, this is right 214. It's off outside Veer. We'll just post this flanker, swing the tight end wide. We got him right there. The great catch. Good pass. Split now, 518. We're going to fake the dive over there and then stand up and throw back on a quick slant right there. He breaks 2 tackles or 3 of them there and able to get in the end zone. Good job. Split end play there. It's unbalanced left now. We're going to put the tailback in motion. That's a fly to us, and then we're going to read that halfback. If he takes off, we're going to throw the ball quick. Kind of a hot route or tight end or split end set in there tight. Good play. That quick slant, and then we throw it deep. Right split. This we call 518 go. We fake that quick slant, and then we throw it deep outside. Great pass there and a good catch. Bring it in here with me on now, and we'll show you a play drive, and we'll show you a couple of series on video here in a little bit. And let me discuss with you right quickly what we try to do. First off, whenever we go into a ball game, our field is going to be divided basically into 3 or 4 areas. We're going to have our very conservative areas down on their end of the field that we're not going to do anything silly and try to have a turnover. We're not going to gamble too much. Then we get closer to the 50-yard line, then we're going to open up a little more. And then you move down around to 35, then we're going to start thinking about scoring and how we're going to score. Not necessarily breaking things for long runs. We're trying to nail that thing down, use the plays that will get us the 4 and 5 yards a pop and try to sustain our drives here. So here's some things that we try to do, and this is an example of a game sheet, our offensive play sheet that we go into a ball game with. The bottom stuff here is just nothing more than 2-minute offense that we try to run out of a spread set. What I'm interested in you seeing is right here from the 10-yard line, from the goal line out to the 10-yard line. We call that our danger zone, and we're not going to do a whole lot there. We're going to be pretty darn conservative. We don't want to make any errors there and certainly give them an easy touchdown. The next part we're going to move up on is a critical zone. We feel like in that area there are certain plays that we can open up a little bit more and run. Yeah, we're going to be careful not to take those high-risk things and do those high-risk things. I tell you what we like to do. if we end up in long yardage situations, we're going to stand up there and we're going to quick kick the doggone football. Not many people do that anymore. I think people are coming back to doing that nowadays. But we'll darn sure quick kick the thing out of there. If it's not raining or the wind's not in our face or something, then get it down to the other end of the field so you don't make an error there, particularly against an awful good football team. But that critical zone there, there's not too many passes we're going to throw in that area. There's going to be very few. We don't want to turn the darn ball over down there. Okay, we move up, say, between the 35 and the 35. We get to the middle of the football field, then we're going to open the thing up and we're going to run anything and everything. Good place to use screens, draws, passing game, whatever it might be. All right, and then once we get inside the 35-yard line, we're going to call that 4-down territory, and we're going to want to score once we get there. And that's very vital to us that you drive the doggone football, and make that thing operate well. Okay? Then, of course, when we get inside the 10-yard line, you got to score. I don't care whether you're running the football, you're going to kick the football or something, but you find what you do best, and for us, we're going to outside Veer load option and counter dive. We're going to hammer it down there, and we're looking for that 2 and 3 and 4 yards of pop, and if we need to, we throw the football a little bit. Okay? But those are basically what we try to do. I might, I've closed up this a little bit and talking about our offense in particular, and I'll mention to you a couple of things about our practice schedule. First off, you get in a big football game, we're probably going to look at using the kicking game a great deal. We're going to be more conservative. We're going to want to use the kicking game offensively and defensively both. We feel like that we're not going to put our horns in and not do anything during the ball game, but we are going to be more conservative in what we do and try to make a great effort at making them beat us if we're going to get beat. We certainly don't want to beat ourselves. Another thing I think that we try to adhere to all the time is that we do not want to try to force anything in the Veer offense. When you force things, you usually make turnovers, and we want to take what the defense will give you and not try to throw the football downfield, not try to pitch the ball when you shouldn't pitch it. So we want to be careful in doing that. And certainly then the other thing that everyone tries to do, I think, and we're always trying to be very much aware of it, is if they have a great offensive football team, then we want to use ball control. And we'll show you drive in which we do that here in a few minutes, and show you that we're going to run the football the whole series. We're not going to throw it any. Because it's taking time off the clock, and if we're able to do that, then they don't have the football and say the run and shoot offense, or an offense that has a great offensive weapon such as a quarterback or a great running back or something. But those are what we're going to do in the ball games, and we'll show you a couple of series that we ran this past season, and give you about 7, 8, 9 play drive and give you an idea of what we do. You'll notice on there, of course, that we're going to repeat downs, repeat the play rather down after down sometimes, depending on what the defense is doing. If we feel like it's there, we'll come back and run it again. Okay, so we'll take a little time here and show you a couple of drives on the series here, and then we'll close this out with some schedules that we use. This particular series here is against an awfully good defensive football team, so we're going to have to throw the ball quite a bit. Particular series, we'll start out throwing the ball and running the ball both the time. We don't throw on our end of the field. We're backed up very much. Too much chance for turnover. As the outside Veer strong this end, we're going to come back here on 3rd and 7 play or so, and we're going to split the end out here, and we'll throw the out route to him on straight drop back pass. Good job of giving him protection, and defensive back misplays that a little bit, gives us a chance to break loose and make a good cut there and get up extra yardage. Something difficult to do against this football team. Here we go unbalanced and go lead option. Good job of the quarterback there. We don't do a very good job on the crack, and they do a good job defending us there and pursuing the football. Here we'll take load option to the weak side. We're going to go back to weak side even though we're unbalanced the other way. We'll still run weak side and force them to keep people over there to play us. This now is a drop back pass, and instead of running out route, we run a curl route off of it. It's one we call 0-70. Then we're going to go to a split set here, and we're going to throw 8. I'm trying to hit the tight end, read the strong safety. Linebacker picks him up, though, and we have to throw the out man out there on the wide, on the boundary, throw it to the flanker. Here we're going to come back to the left set and throw 8. Now then we get the tight end out front of the linebacker, and the strong safeties come up. We're able to get the ball over to him. A good play there for another 10, 15 yards. We're going to try lead option again. Anytime you can't get the ball to the end you're supposed to pitch off of, then you need to cut it up. The quarterback does a great job there and picks up some positive yardage, even though we missed a block. We're going balanced again, run outside Veer. They do a good job of wrecking that up right there. We don't block that very well. And we're able to not just get back to the line of scrimmage and maybe pick up 1. Felt like that was there. We're going to come right back with it again and make good cut to fullback this time. Cut up inside and get the touchdown there to start the ball game with. This particular football team, we felt like we could run the ball on. This drive here will be all run plays. We started off with an outside veer back to the weak side, just to have a right formation. And come back now with unbalanced set, and we'll run outside veer at them here. And, of course, it's early in the ball game, and we're not adjusting their defense very well. We miss block some and just kind of get back to the line of scrimmage on that play. We still feel like it's there, and if we feel like it's there, we'll come right back with it. And we do that right here. Keep the football and turn it up. Most of the time we give the ball on dive on outside veer. Most of them are dive reads. Unbalanced to the left side, now we run the counter dive. We've got a pretty good soft spot on that strong side there, and we saw that and do a good job picking it up. And at times we come back and repeat the same play. If we feel like they're not doing anything to adjust to that, then we'll come back. We probably shouldn't have cut back so far that time to running back. We'll set unbalanced left here and run the load option over to the strong side, and we don't do a good job on the load block. Quarterback does a good job just cutting up and getting a couple of yards out of it. And one thing, we don't have a trap. We don't run a trap series or anything, so we'll run quarterback sneak some just to kind of keep everything in the middle in good shape. Of course, we pick up about 5, 6 on this one. We feel like that's a good play for us at times, and certainly one is simple. We'll set unbalanced right now and try to run back to the weak side with outside veer. Have the good play there. They do a good job with their linebacker getting off. We didn't block that like we should have, turned the backer loose. Should have probably sent that split end over ours lined up tight in there and picked him up. Tried to counter dive again. Just didn't get her feet picked up good there. We had a place to run. Now we're going to set a regular right formation now and run the load option with the right set. Too wide there a little bit with their fullback, but we're able to get up in there and get 4 yards, 5 yards out of the play, and you get down inside the 20, then that's all. We're not going to expect to just hammer everything in there real easy. We'll come back now with an unbalanced set now, or split set, I'm sorry. No, it's an unbalanced set, and good job of the load back there, and we pick up another 4 or 5 yards. Moves us down even closer then. And then we've hit outside a couple of times. We better come back in on the dive play. Just hammer it up in there a little bit, like anyone else would. Is any offense there, you're going to run the dive as a base play. Okay, set unbalanced set. We're going to run load option weak again. We felt like we could do that. Good job there. Tail back, throwing on him. Of course, we don't want to pitch that football if we don't have to. We would like to cut it up in there and get it down to the quarterback if possible. Talk to you a little bit about what we do in